Bills fans, I'm not even going to attempt to lie to you. I'm not going to tell you a white lie. I'm not going to tell you a partial lie. The truth is, this was likely the worst season y'all will have in the last 5 years.
Shut up, the Bills! It's not outside! It's not outside! Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Want me now, listen. Everyone play their position. Buffalo got a tradition. They say we trippin'. They better get out our way. Top of the table, we flippin'. We on a mission. Got an unstoppable team. Continue to follow your dream by any means. Buffalo, get in the Super Bowl ring. Cause we the Buffalo Bills. Yeah, we the Buffalo Bills. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, yeah. Reppin' the mafia, Bills, mafia, yeah. You better know that. Look how we throwing and catching, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. You better know that. Look how we running and hitting, cause we are unstoppable, yeah. Mafia up in your city, time to get gritty. Screaming and yelling, we bugging. Look at the red and blue.
This is an MVP year for Josh Allen. As an MVP voter, I said this last week. Josh Allen, he looks like an MVP. When you vote for MVP, and I can speak for myself, I think I'm one of 50 voters, you look at a couple things. Who's the best team in football? Who's the best player on that team in football? What do they look like as the best player on that team in football? And how much talent is around that best player on that best team in football?
And a good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Coast to Coast podcast here on Wednesday, August 20th. Now just a few precious weeks away from opening night at Highmark Stadium, Bills Ravens, week 1. It's going to be an incredible scene. And got one more preseason game, so we have a lot to talk about today. We are not short of subjects, so again, follow us at Do Champions and look for us everywhere on other platforms. Whittle, how are you tonight?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How you been?
Doing pretty good. I mean, we've seen overreactions galore out there about the Bills this week, so we'll get into that. So we'll have lots of discussion on that and a lot of other topics going on with the Bills right now. So, well, we could start, if you'd like. We could start with we have 2 more episodes left of Hard Knocks. So we could start with that, and then we'll go into some busy Dave trades, and we'll go into the Bears game. We'll get into McDermott and Babbich's comments and some other speculation as well. So, Whittle, did you catch Hard Knocks last night? And any thoughts on how that episode went down?
Yeah, I did. I just think that one of those things that you that we know about this team and that we love about this team is how connected they are. How it's not just when the cameras are on, how these guys really do care about each other. How tightly knit they are. You actually see it. And there's tons of things that they could be doing in Buffalo, with their family or hanging out with their friends, and they hang out with each other. So,
Yep.
that's great. Those are things that you can't. Those are the things that you can't fake, right? Like you can't fake the connections. You can't
Yep.
fake the camaraderie. You can't fake the love. So, I definitely noticed that. Like that was huge. So, but outside of that, man, I mean, they're practicing well. The roster is kind of starting to shape out. You're starting to see
Yep.
who's standing out and who's not. I do like that they featured a guy like Jamarcus Ingram. I thought that was nice because Jamarcus Ingram
Yes.
is a guy who's been uh, in and out of the 53 in the practice squad,
Hmm.
a UB guy, a University of Buffalo guy that they brought in, and last year last year was probably the most time he spent on the 53, and it's a good thing we had him because he made a number of plays, especially early on in the season. He had that pick six, and he had the two interceptions against Miami, the pick six on Tua, and he's always played. He's always been a plus level player on special teams. You got a chance to see it though, and it was good.
Yep.
Um, Charlo, bringing him up. They call him West Point. I mean McDermott was calling him West Point. So it's awesome, man. Like it's awesome.
Absolutely. And that's to me, that's always the number one thing that I look forward to for Hard Knocks is any team, right? Are those guys like Jamarcus Ingram? Those stories are really what camp's all about. We've talked about Tyrell Shavers a few times, and even Jimmy Chiarlo. I'm not sure if I'm saying his name right. The guy that they call West Point, and
Yeah, I
McDermott,
think
the
it's
English
Char. I think they
attachment.
call. I think
Yeah,
it's Charlo. I
Charlo.
think it's
Charlo.
Charlo.
Jimmy Charlo, and he's a very intriguing prospect. Um, and like McDermott said, if you make plays and doesn't matter where you are in the depth chart, and if you can play special teams like he can, he might sneak a spot on this roster. It's going to be interesting. He could be that one surprise guy. And again, considering that we're going to have essentially 55 on our roster because of the two suspensions we have with Hoyt
Right.
and Ogunjobi, you're going to see a couple players get a little extended look, so it's good, which is very interesting in terms of. So it's almost like extending the preseason a little bit more for a couple of these guys and getting real game checks. So that's going to be a real exciting time for two players on this roster that normally may be cut. So, but that's what I love the focus on those players. I think that's the spirit of what Hard Knocks is about. Are those fringe players? We already know Josh Allen's making the roster. I'm still disappointed. One thing, though, Whittle. I'm still disappointed in the lack of Keon Coleman's covered, stories and depth. Like I still wonder if they're saving him for episode 4, but I'm really, really surprised that they have not highlighted Keon yet. But maybe they will get to it in due time. I did like the spot on Ed Oliver. That was pretty great. His ranch and all that. That was pretty cool. And bringing Ty Johnson there to do the dirty work, I thought that was pretty funny. And of course, like you said, you can't fake the camaraderie, right? It's always Buffalo compared to a lot of other markets. It's more important that these guys are close, right? We know Buffalo isn't Miami, it's not LA, it's not New York when it comes to what's available to a guy in his 20s to go out and do things, right? It's just not the same. I'm not putting down Buffalo in any way. It's just different, right? So you got to find players that find joy. Like, didn't Deion Dawkins say today he wants to live here for the rest of his life? I mean, that's incredible, right? That speaks to the kind of players that the Bills are trying to go after. So, and of course, when do you want to welcome our Jets troll in here today? I'm sure he's excited that his Jets have to pry off former Bills to try to you know get things going. But we'll get into that later in the show.
Yeah, I didn't even. Yeah, I'm not even gonna dignify his behavior with a response today.
Yeah,
Shout out to the
yeah,
Bills. Shout out to the chat. We appreciate everybody
yep, yep.
coming through.
And we'll
Um,
definitely bring up your comments as we go through. We've had some great questions, so we'll certainly circle back to them.
yeah, we'll try to get to everything. So today was pretty crazy today. With there was a lot of action in the NFL. Just want to highlight a couple of trades that stood out to me.
Hmm.
Uh, the the Denver Broncos traded their slot receiver, um, Devon. I think it's Devon Vele to the
Yeah,
to
Vele.
the
Yep.
Vele. Yeah, they traded him to the Saints. I believe the conversation was like a late round pick or something like that. Uh,
Hmm.
that that's a nice move for the That's a nice move. Shout out to you too, Just Commute. Appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah, what's up, Jets
Always,
commute?
we show love.
Always.
Yeah, oh, it was a fourth round pick. Okay, cool.
Yep.
That was a good
Hmm.
pickup for the Saints. Um, and it tells me exactly what uh they think of Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin out there. So Troy Franklin has had a very good um, he's had a very good camp so far, and he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He said, when he got drafted, I believe it was in the fifth round last year. He said, "I'm going to make the teams that didn't take me. Um, I'm going to make them pay." So, and that's what he's trying to do. He made us pay. Scored a touchdown on us in the playoff game, but
Hmm.
the unfortunately for him, and fortunately for us, we were able to win that game in advance. But Troy Franklin definitely has played well for them. He's
Hmm.
improved
Yep.
as a player. He's only going to get better from this point. And I think they really like Pat Bryant, the boundary guy, boundary receiver that they took out of Illinois.
Hmm.
I liked him a lot as well coming into the draft process, the draft coming into the draft season. I loved him, as a potential, mid to late round guy that the Bills could possibly look at to kind of answer some questions on the outside at receiver.
Hmm.
Um, but the Bills, I think, are going to answer some of those questions, with a familiar face. But there were some other trades that went down as well.
Hmm.
Sky Moore, the former second round pick from the Kansas City Chiefs, was traded for to the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers have had a ton of injuries and other things just kind of happened to their wide receiver room. So they make a trade. They sent over, I think they sent a seventh or sixth round pick, and they got back like a seventh and they got back Sky Moore as well. So, that was nice. That was a nice move for the 49ers to get some wide receiver depth. Um, the Chiefs, they get rid of clearly a miss in the draft in Sky Moore. And Sky Moore
Hmm.
gets a brand new start somewhere where they have a very good offensive coordinator that, will use him in different ways that he was used in Kansas City and
Hmm.
hopefully he'll be able to produce out there. So congratulations to Sky Moore. He got moved. And what else?
He's
Oh,
got himself enough.
and uh, another trade. Yeah, Harrison Phillips, former Buffalo Bill defensive tackle Harrison Phillips, was traded today from the Minnesota Vikings to the New York Jets. That is something that the Jets absolutely needed. Was another defensive tackle that could come in and help out. That's a very good get for them. Harrison Phillips is a guy who can play. Uh, a one technique and as well as a three technique position. He doesn't mind taking on either
Hmm.
role. And he's been proficient in both. This is definitely going to help them and against the run, and it's also going to help. Um, it's going to help Quint. Who was it? Quentin Williams? Yeah, Quentin. It's
Yes.
going to help Quentin Williams step up a little bit. He's going to
Yep.
step up a little bit. This should free him up to kind of do a little more um,
Yep.
on the defensive line. It's gonna make that unit
Yep.
better. It's gonna make that defense better. He's a quality player.
Yep.
I would have loved to see Harris Phillips come back to Buffalo and play. I didn't. He dealt with injuries early on in his career, and then the last couple of years, he was healthy in Buffalo his last like year or two, and then
Yep.
the time he spent in Minnesota, he was relatively healthy as well. So
Yep. The one thing too, real quick, what I like about that deal for the Jets is it ties into what Aaron Glenn's trying to do with the Jets right
mhm.
now, their goal, and this is for all the Jet fan we have in here, to give a compliment. It's really not to me about the wins and losses for them so much this year. It's about changing the culture of that whole organization. Something we've seen from the Bills when McDermott first came in, right? And guys like Harrison Phillips are the kind of players that that team needs to try to change it. And I think that in the Jets I think they made two deals today for D tackles. So it goes to show you what Aaron Glenn and that staff is trying to do over there in New York.
Right. So Excellent move for those guys. Unfortunately, he's back in the division, but wearing
Hmm.
the wrong uniform. So it is
Yeah,
what it
that's
is.
okay. We'll
Yeah,
accept it. We'll deal with it.
yeah. Still gonna get run on. Doesn't matter. And they're still getting swept. The Bills are still gonna beat them twice this year. Uh, but it'll be nice to see a friendly face when we get over there. So
Yeah,
that'll
they
be cool.
smile on the sidelines. Yeah.
Hmm.
So we're I'm getting a shout out from our Jet fan. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or not a good thing. I'm only kidding, by the way. So, but anyway, but
Yeah.
it was a pretty solid move though. Got to call it like we see it.
Right, right. And speaking of other potential moves, the Jets, not the Jets, the Bills, uh, brought in former fourth round draft pick from the University of Central Florida, Gabe Davis, who is currently
Mhm.
a free agent. He was released by the Jaguars. Um, after tearing his after his past season, he tore his meniscus. They just kind of cut bait with him, and yeah, so he's shopping himself around, looking for a spot to land and pick up a role with a team. And
Mhm.
listen, this has been welcomed by some Bills fans. A lot of Bills fans are like, "No, we're good, man. We don't want Gabe Davis back." And I look at it like this: you get an opportunity to grab a guy. Excuse me. You get the opportunity to grab a guy who already has a built-in rapport with the coaching staff, with the quarterback, with the offense. Uh, he knows his way around the building. He's definitely put in some really, really big performances for us, and you probably are going to get him at a really cheap price because 11 million. He's already getting paid like $10 million or $11 million from the Jacksonville Jaguars this year. So if you're bringing Gabe Davis in to be wide receiver 4 or 5, he's probably the best wide receiver 4 or 5 in the NFL, right? I mean, that's what Matt Collins was brought in to be last year. He was brought in to be wide receiver 4. Gabe is better than Matt Collins. Okay.
Yeah.
And, we talked about that. We talked about this in a space earlier today. Shout out to Jarek and Justin
Yes.
and Dale and the rest of those guys, Patrick
Hmm.
and everybody. Shout out to you guys, man, because yeah, like that's the bottom line is this makes the team better. Gabe
Yep.
Davis makes us better. So if we can get Gabe Davis, I'd be happy with it. I mean, if we'd had Gabe Davis in 23, we probably beat the Chiefs. We probably go to the Super Bowl that year. So,
Hmm.
um,
You know what it is too, Whittle?
you
It's
know,
all about expectation too, right? It's all about
yeah,
Gabe Davis at $12 million. Like we were talking before, no, that's one of those like shake your heads. But Gabe Davis at league minimum or $2 million, you know what? I think that's something I could definitely live with, considering. And you brought up a great point in our spaces today about the run blocking ability that he brings, and that extra element, and former captain as well. I mean, there's a lot of things. So really, it's about that. If we're bringing back Gabe at $11 million, of course, none of us would agree to that. But for this price of what he could do and the familiarity, and of course, Josh loves the idea. So, that goes a long way with this organization, as we have seen. I kind of expect this is going to happen, Whittle. I'm about 80% on it. I'm not sure where you are on it, but I'm kind of connecting the dots here with this one.
um, I think we know that what Josh wants, Josh gets. So they're definitely going to ask him, and I mean, honestly, why not? Because if you think about what do we have at wide receiver? All right, Keon Coleman, he's had a great offseason. Khalil Shakir, clearly not going anywhere, one of the better slot receivers in the league.
Mhm.
Um, what's my guy's name? Joshua Palmer.
Yep.
He was brought in. They're paying him $12 million. He's not going anywhere, and
Hmm.
he's a route runner. He's a guy that creates separation through route running. So he's definitely not going anywhere because that's something that we need on this team. After that, I mean, it's Curtis Samuel. I like what he brings. I really like what Curtis Samuel brings to the table, but he's always hurt. He's it's tough to it's tough to get a guy that we can rely on that we can't rely on. So he just is always hurt. So it's tough. Elijah Moore, who you like the thought of it and the talent that you think that's there, but he hasn't really asserted himself, and really taken firm control of a roster spot yet. Um, Laviska Shenault gives you the special teams, but he's limited as a receiver. I mean, he can play some receiver, but he's limited in that role. Tyrell Shavers is there, who plays special teams, who has made some plays, but you know how important or how much of a redundancy is his skill set. 6'4", 6'4", 6'5". I think he might actually be 6'6", but he's somewhere around like 6'4" to 6'6", somewhere around there. And he's a vertical boundary guy with a fair amount of speed that can win at the catch point. I mean,
Hmm.
okay, Gabe Davis does that, so does Keon Coleman. So you bring on three guys, and that's just that. Yeah, that's true.
It is.
Samuel's been the bail inspector on offense. That's
Yeah,
really true
very true.
because when he is available, and healthy, he was good. Like you saw it in the playoffs. He made plays against Denver, made plays against the Chiefs. Would have made another play against the Chiefs if Josh didn't miss him, but you know, that's just
Hmm.
what it is, man. I
That's right.
mean, your best ability is availability.
That's right.
We were real quick. We were supposed to have Drew from the Rock Power Report on today. It is my fault. I was supposed to follow up with him this weekend. I forgot, didn't follow up with him. So I had to reschedule him coming on. He's agreed to it, so we'll have him on the week before we'll have him on during the week that we play the Jets, and we'll discuss some things with him then. My bad, y'all. I apologize.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a little
Little
it's been a little
no
busy,
apology
a
necessary,
little
brother. You
little
know
little
that.
crazy, a little crazy around here.
Yep. This was an interesting stat from Josh about Palmer playing 50% in the preseason, playing 7 out of 14 snaps in the slot. What that means, we'll see. But that's an interesting little tidbit. Thank you, Joshua, for that. So something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, that just reaffirms what the coaching staff has been saying is that they're going to move all of these guys around. Shakir has been primarily our slot guy, but they talked about utilizing him a little bit more in some different alignments. So I can see him line up at the X. I can see him line up at the Y position. I can see it. That they're going to do some of those things this year. I can see. I can see that they line him and Palmer out wide and Coleman in the slot, or maybe Coleman is in the slot on one side and you got Kincaid in the slot on the other side.
Mhm.
You know, there's a lot of things that they can do, and when you have a diverse room, when you have a diverse wide receiver room, it gives you the option to just kind of really play around with your formations and your alignments and different things to really kind of force the issue with the defense. The defense has to
Mhm.
react to what you're doing, and you can dictate what a defense does by who you put on the field. So, I love it, man. I love it. Like, let's continue to be what do you call it? Let's continue to not be predictable. Let's continue to be random and explosive and unpredictable all over the football field. I think that's the best option when you're going up against an unpredictable foe who likes to do some weird things on defense in the
Yep.
Kansas City Chiefs. So,
That's
um,
what the Chiefs have
yeah,
done to us in the playoffs. We get different looks that we didn't expect, right?
yeah.
And we've seen it over and over again. And that's probably the difference between why we lose by the smallest of margins in the playoffs against them.
Well, absolutely, absolutely. Um, what else? So what are your thoughts on the Gabe Davis? Well, Gabe Davis and
Well,
Harrison Phillips, because I think both of
Well,
those moves have
yeah.
have have implications for the Bills.
Bills. Yeah. Oh, one quick thing I wanted to circle back to the Valley trade with the Saints. That could be for Denver. That could be a day 3 first overall pick if the Saints are as bad as a lot of people are predicting this year, right? So that I like that trade for Denver quite a bit for that reason, Whittle. I think
Right.
that that's good use of their depth there. They're pretty set. So I mean, imagine that is that first. They come back on day 3, and that's the first pick of the 4th round. That could have some value for the Broncos. So I was a little surprised that the Saints, given where they are, even though I like the deal in some respects, they still don't have anybody throwing the ball. I figured they would be keeping a lot of their assets to try to go for a quarterback next year, but we'll see. But that was the one thing that was on my mind about that. As far as how Harrison Phillips go, we did discuss, about what he will mean to the Jets. And again, I think he's going to offer a lot in the locker room as well as his play on the field. And again, be a nice compliment for Quentin Williams. So it's going to make that Jets defense just a little more difficult to deal with. As we've had our ups and downs, especially in Jersey against the Jets. So we'll see how that goes. And as far as Gabe Davis goes, Whittle, you know, I guess the one concern I have is he fully recovered from his meniscus tear last year? Was it week 11? I think it was last year. I think it was against Detroit, if I remember correctly. So there have been some reports that, maybe his speed and footwork weren't great in an August 2025 video. So maybe he's getting, extra looks and we just don't know where he is. Maybe Gabe is a situation where maybe he's checking in with the Bills and maybe the Bills will tell him, hey, maybe later in the year something comes up here. Maybe after the trade deadline, we'll bring you in. It's really hard to say because, Gabe has visited several teams now. I believe it's the 49ers, Steelers, Saints, and the Giants as well. So he's been looking around. So it just depends on how they feel. They're saying he might be ready for week 1, but that's a maybe. And, the Bills are already dealing with, is Khalil Shakir going to play week 1, right? I mean, I think he will, but they already have some injury concerns there. So I'm curious as to the timing. We'll have to see what happens after cut day. Maybe right around that time is when we see some action on the Gabe Davis front.
I do want to circle back to Hard Knocks a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and Steve brought up a really really great point. Um,
Yes.
and I mean, if you can, like we talked a little earlier about um, the Hard Knocks episode in this space. Like, what do you like? What are your thoughts on? And if I could get you to react to this, that'd be great. But what are your thoughts on the Hard Knocks
Please with
episode?
Dawkins' comments. I mean, the Hard Knocks episode, again, it kind of speaks to what the Bills are about, right, Whittle? We're not getting a lot of drama that probably some of the nation is hoping for in that
Mhm.
respect, but that's music to our ears, right? I mean, we remember with the Giants last year with Joe Schoen and the whole Barkley fiasco and how that kind of was the talk, right, of this time of year. The Bills aren't having such issues. I mean, I like the James Cook spot. It's typical James Cook, very quiet, reserved. Great to see he's excited to come back. Um, again, I do love the spots, again, of the players that are on those bubbles. I just think that's one of the best parts about Hard Knocks. And I do like Dion Dawkins' comments about Coleman, and he's just, Dion's a very straightforward guy, right? And I did like, even some of the comments in the game, which we'll get into about, his brutal honesty about how bad they were getting, what's kicked and all that was pretty spot on. But, it kind of reinforced my feelings on let's not overreact too hard to losing that game, but there's still things that they're not too happy about in that respect. So, but again, this is Matt Milano. I think I saw a funny tweet. I think he said one word so far, Whittle.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to bring that up too. Matt
Yeah,
Milano finally talked. I mean,
yeah,
it took us
one
getting
word.
blown out for it to happen, but
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts too. Just to see him on the screen even talking was funny. So because if they put that camera in front of Matt Milano, it's going to be just probably silence for most of the time. You're not going to get him
yeah,
to do that. So
yeah. I like the when Cook signed his deal, that was
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah,
But when Cook runs out to the practice field and they're all just like
Yeah.
waiting for him and they're clapping and all. I mean that's awesome, man. I love
Hmm.
that. Um, they're happy, man. They're happy he got it. I mean, he's happy he got it as well. And I noticed a couple of times, um, he said, yeah, I want to spend, the rest of my, or I'm happy to spend the next 4 years here in Buffalo. And the agent said the same thing. James wants to spend the rest, the length of his he's happy to be here for the next 4 years. I think
Hmm.
like I kind of believe now at this point that Cook he does like playing for this team. I don't know if he
Absolutely.
loves being in Buffalo, but I do think he genuinely likes
Hmm.
playing for this team. So,
Yep.
but
Yeah. I think
the
it's
way
like
that
Jim Kelly always said, Whittle, right? It's the place you hate to go to, but it's the place you hate to leave. I mean, Jim is not one for a lot of great quotes, but that was one that always stuck with me. And it's kind of true, right? It's one of those places that you think,
yeah.
do I want to go to Buffalo? Right? Again, compared to other markets. But when you get there, you see, like I remember Deion Dawkins talking about, he says, you're an offensive lineman in like New York or LA, nobody pays attention to you. You're an offensive lineman in Buffalo. You go to Wegmans or something, everybody's talking to you and they're giving you all this love. It's just a totally different vibe than most NFL cities.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like that every time I get ready to get in the car and drive up there, I'm like, I do not feel like taking a 5 hour drive, right? And listen, that 5.5 hours, there is nothing for about 3, maybe 4 hours. There's about 4 hours of just like straight driving through nothing.
Binghamton,
Farms.
Corning.
Yeah, it's terrible, bro. It's
Nothing
terrible.
against those cities, by the way. It's just not my
No, no, nothing at all. But I mean,
yeah.
like, bro, there's nothing there. And a lot of times I have to when I'm making those trips, I'm making them by myself. It's just me in the car, me and my music, and sometimes the space. If the service, if my service ain't nervous, I'm in the space trying to
If
pass the
my
time. But
service
literally,
ain't nervous. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
it literally, I am, you know. Or
Mhm.
Dolo. I don't know how LeSean does it. Like he driving 14, one way. He
Yeah,
driving
he's
like 14
Leishan. By the
hours, bro.
way, happy birthday to our buddy Leishan today, by the way.
Happy
I
birthday
should
to
know that
LeSean,
too. Yep,
100%.
yep, yep. But yeah,
Happy
that
birthday to
was
my grandmother too.
hey.
My grandmother's birthday was yesterday. Yeah, so
Oh wow,
happy
happy
birthday to you,
birthday.
Grandma.
Happy birthday. I
Um,
love it, Whittle.
yeah, so look, it, I hate to drive. I'm just not even gonna lie to you. I hate to drive. I wish I owned a helicopter. I would just fly if I could, But I hate to drive,
I'm
bro.
with you.
And
Hmm.
listen, when I get there, I feel at home, bro. When I get there, I feel
Good,
like
good.
I'm relieved. Like obviously, I'm happy because the drive is over. But I get there and there's a burst of energy because it's like I want to see my friends. I want to be around Bills fans. Like
Yeah,
I'm at home, man. Because it's
good.
like everybody there's a Bills fan. I'm a Bills fan. Everybody there's a Bills
Hmm.
fan.
Yep, I understand.
So yeah,
I
bro.
understand
So
for sure.
I just enjoy it. Um,
Yeah.
what else?
This,
Okay.
well, here's an
I
interesting
do want
comment
to
that I
get
want to
into. Go
put
ahead.
on
Go
the
ahead.
screen. You were talking about James Cook, and Dog wants to know what this is all about. I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this. I see some different things in the relationship between B and McD. Truly think McDermott was the true catalyst to getting the Cook deal done. I'm curious what Steve's reaction to that is, but I'm trying to think in my mind what I could have seen. Do you think maybe Do you think Bean went a little more than he wanted to in terms of the
Oh,
price?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe that's part of it. Maybe got some pressure from McDermott about it, and maybe, but yeah, there could be. I mean, it's a possibility. I don't think it's a strained relationship. I just think it's I'm sure they don't see completely eye to eye on every single topic, and maybe this is one that they didn't see completely eye to eye on. So who knows? It's an interesting observation though that I have not heard. So I just wanted to flash that on the screen because it got my attention.
Um, So I want to direct. I'm gonna directly speak to Steve's point. Um, and yeah, I don't want to say that I don't know if there's a difference in a relationship. I just think that I think that I feel like Sean McDermott is coaching with urgency now. Like I feel like he's moving with urgency. It there was always I think there's always pressure, especially over the last few years. I think after this past draft, I think McDermott understands I got the things that I asked for, which was talent on the defensive side of the football. He knows this year that talent has to produce. I don't care that they're rookies; they have to produce. Absolutely, Sean Seed is definitely hotter than Bean. But now this is going to be it's going to be controversial to some, and others who think that I'm a McDermott apologizer are going to say, "Well, of course he's going to say that because he just loves McDermott." Well, we always talk about the draft and different things like that, right? And we give Bean a lot of credit for the draft and finding these guys and all of this other stuff. But um, I would argue that 2017 might have been one of the better drafts that we had as an organization. And I'm going to add context past just the guys that we picked up. Uh, so in 2017, this was before Brandon Bean was hired. Sean McDermott and who was the old GM's
Bo
name?
Nix? No, not Bo
No,
Nix. Buddy Nix? No. Or Doug Whaley?
no. Yeah, Whaley. All right, yep. So those guys were basically in charge of the draft, and I don't know how much say Whaley had in it, but
Hmm.
so the first pick was the 27th pick overall, Tre'Davious White. Tre'Davious White, two-time All-Pro before he was injured. Finally back wearing his number 27, and he's back. He's going to be the starting corner opposite of Christian Benford. The second round pick was Zay Jones. Um, I have no idea where Zay Jones is now, but I know Zay Jones had a couple of years. He was really good for the he was good for the Jazz for a couple of years. Then he played, I think, for the Raiders. So, um, he's gotten multiple contracts. Deion Dawkins, who's been, the cornerstone franchise left tackle the entire time. He was a second round pick as well. 6'3" overall. Fifth round pick was Matt Milano, multiple time All Pro at linebacker. And the last two picks, Nathan Peterman,
Mm.
he stinks, and Tanner Vallejo. Now, when you look at just the players, you think to yourself, well, I mean, that's not anything special, but let's also look at that 2017 offseason in totality. The Tre'Davious White pick was acquired because we traded out of the selection with the Kansas City Chiefs, where we got the pick to take Tre'Davious White, and we also got a first round pick for the next for 2018.
Yep.
2018, the Buffalo Bills. 2018, the Buffalo Bills used that first round pick and other picks that they acquired to move up and draft Josh Allen and Tremaine Edmonds in the first round. They also took Taron Johnson in that draft. They also took I feel like I'm missing one more person that was good for us in 2018. That wasn't Singletary. All right,
2018. You talk about the 2018 draft?
yeah. Let me pull it up. I
2018,
got
we
it
took
right here. Oh, there we
first round
go.
pick.
Harrison Phillips.
Yes.
So, Josh Allen, Tremaine Edmonds, Harrison Phillips, Taron Johnson, Saran Neal. Saran Neal multiple contracts with us. Like he was here
Yep.
for a minute.
Yep.
And it's
He was solid.
it's not like he stunk. He was here for a while. Um, Wyatt Teller,
Ooh, that's one that we
all
should have. That
pro.
would have. This was a good draft, though. Are we gonna?
All pro guard. We traded away. Ray
Mhm.
Ray McLeod, who's bounced around the league a little bit, but over the last couple of years, I think he found some staying power with the 49ers, mostly just a kick return or whatever. And then Austin Pro, who, didn't
Mhm.
really pan out to anything. But don't
And you
like
know what'll yeah,
the
he's the
moves
only pro
made
that's
in
not active. That's it. Pro's the only one.
yep,
All the other guys are still in the league. That's a pretty good draft considering it's been 30
excellent draft.
years.
And it was set up by what we did in 2017. Also in
Mhm.
2017, what did they do? They brought in Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, right?
That was huge.
Uh, Jordan Poyer, you know, couldn't stick with the he's a Falcon now. Okay. Thank you, Joshua. Appreciate it. The Jordan Poyer couldn't stick with the Eagles, couldn't stick with the Browns. We bring him in multiple years all pro. So he was a first team all pro. I mean, Jordan Poyer is gonna go in the Ring of Honor for the Bills. His name is going up on the wall. He'll retire a Buffalo Bill under tons of praise. Um, some of the most iconic plays that we have uh, with this team, over the last 6 years or so. Um,
Mhm.
Poyer's right there a part of it. Micah Hyde as well brought in as a Green Bay didn't want to re-sign him, and we bring him in and turn him into a safety, and I think the greatest interception of the Josh Allen era in that game against the Patriots, where he clears half the field and takes the ball out of the air in the playoff game, where we really established that this was our division going forward. So I gotta give McDermott a little more credit for where this team is and some of the decisions that he's made. Um, I know that there are people that say that McDermott is behind everything, and they'll tell you that McDermott is the mastermind, puppet master, pulling all the strings in the background. And to that, I say, in the seventh round of the 2025 NFL draft, the Buffalo Bills in the seventh round take Caden Prather, wide receiver from University of Maryland,
Mm.
instead of Sean Dolak from University of Buffalo.
Mhm.
If McDermott's pulling the strings, why on earth would he not take the local linebacker who they have scouted for years, who's excellent in coverage, one of the best coverage linebackers in all of college football? Why would he not pull the trigger if he's making those decisions? Why would he not take that guy?
Mhm.
It makes no sense. So, again, you
Especially
can,
since we
you
had a
know,
crowded room at wide receiver anyway, right? Yeah,
believe what you want,
that.
but believe what you want, but I mean, at some point we got to start using common sense and reading the tea leaves. Like
Yep.
that's just what it is. But anyway, well, I don't want to sit too far on that. Right. Well, there you go, Joshua. Um, that pick was a waste, absolute waste of pick. Kane Prather was cut. For injury. He was released on an injury designation, meaning that if he clears waivers, the Bills can bring him back and put him on a practice squad, or he reverts back to us and we could throw him on IR for the year or whatever and give him a redshirt year. Or we could have had the kid who is sitting in LA right now for the Rams. He's probably going to start. If he doesn't start, he's going to be one of the first linebackers off the bench. The guy had 12 tackles. He was all over the place the other night for the Rams. I mean, he looks great.
Mhm.
He looks absolutely great. He's great. He's good in coverage. He flies to the football. You know, so. But I don't want to stick too much on that. I wanted to bring up one more free agency story, and not even a free agency story. This is an extension. Not even an extension that has anything to do with us. Well, I mean, indirectly it does, because I feel like we kind of helped him get paid, but this kid has put in work since the day he was drafted. I remember him at the combine when I saw, like, when I was watching the combine with some other guys. But I think it was Bill. We were in a space watching it. This kid walks out, and we're like, Tyson Bagent. Who's that?
Yeah,
Right? He
I
went to
remember.
some Division II school from nowhere. And it's like, can this kid even play? So he gets out there, he's doing his thing, and it's like, all right, you can throw the ball, you can spin it a little bit, but I mean, this is a UDFA guy. He's not gonna do anything.
Yeah, he's
Ends up
can't
getting yeah,
flatter.
he ends up getting put on with ends up getting. I don't think the Bears drafted him. Did they?
Mm,
I'm not sure if the
yeah.
Bears drafted him. Let me look it up right quick. Tyson. There we go. Might have been. Might have been. Um, yeah, he's been with the Bears the entire time. All right, cool. So, he's
Undrafted.
been with the Bears, undrafted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
undrafted.
Oh, all right. So, yeah, undrafted guy. Gets on with the Bears. I think Justin Fields like got hurt or something, and then he came in and
Mhm.
played. And then he played solid. Of course, there was some young mistakes or whatever. He made some mistakes, but when he got in, he looked poised and he wasn't afraid of the moment. Made some big throws. He's played well in the preseason, and today he was extended.
Mhm.
Um, he signed his extension today. Uh, with the Chicago Bears, and I just want to play. I'm gonna play this video, and you know, it's just a great moment. So stand by 1 second. Let me play this video.
You got it.
I don't know if anybody else saw this, but let's just let this run through.
You got it.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't know this, but my dad is he's my right hand man, and he didn't even have running water until he was in high school. So um, there's definitely a lot of things and people that I think I could certainly help with this gift I've been blessed with. But yeah, just little things like that. Like, I don't really know anybody back at home with any money, so um, yeah, it feels good. I mean, it's certainly a weight off my shoulders and my family's shoulders, and yeah, it definitely means a lot.
That you know that's what this stuff is about, man. Um,
Mhm.
I know we watch this game and we get enamored with the success of each team and all this other stuff. But ultimately, that's what it's about, bro. It's just about these guys are people as well. And sometimes I think as fans we lose sight of the humanity
Mhm.
of these players. So it's nice to have a story like that and to see something like that happen. Uh,
So
Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool, man. And I mean, if that doesn't hit you in the you know if that
the
doesn't hit you in
fields,
the
right?
feels, bro,
Yep.
well, I don't
Yep.
know. I don't know. I don't
It
know
kind
what's
of
wrong with you.
it reminded me a little bit of Tre'Davious White when he signed his extension and his emotional tear-filled tribute about his parents, right? How he could buy them a house, and I just thought that's what that brought me back to, right? And those are the
Right,
moments that you love, right? That's why we love sports. So that's for sure.
100%, 100%. Um, all right, what next? So we talked about. So we did talk about Hard Knocks. We didn't really get into the Bears game. Like, I mean, do we need to? Like, they smoked us, man.
Here's all the great highlights from the Bears game. All right, and next we'll hear from a word
And
from our
that's it.
sponsor. Speaking of Whittle, speaking of sponsor, maybe it's a perfect time to pay the bills. Like the Bills didn't play any this weekend in Chicago. We'll be right back.
Well, no. Hmm.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliot Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.
And we are back. Thank you, everyone. I want to give, again, like Whittle said, thank you, everyone in the group chat. You guys are great as always. About 50 minutes in on this Wednesday night. The season is approaching very, very soon. I believe a little 2.5 weeks. Can you believe we're 2.5 weeks from the start of season, Whittle? I mean, it still feels surreal to me. It still feels so long, but yet it's so close. But let's pivot to the Bears game. Do you have anything you could take away from that game? It's one of the more challenging ones to watch, I'm sure, in terms of reviewing and trying to find the good nuggets in that game.
Yeah, so I was at a birthday. I was at a birthday party Sunday. Like I went to work that morning, and yeah, I went to work that morning. Got off, went home. Got myself together, left out. So we go to the birthday party real quick. After the party, we can go back home. One of my friends was there. One of my buddies was there, and I said, you know what, let's go over to this lounge that another one of our buddies owns. So let's go
Nice.
over to Mark's. We're going over to Mark's spot, Llewellyn Bar and Grill in West Orange. If you are ever in West Orange, check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, they got lamb chops, man. It's a pretty nice spot.
That sounds
Outdoor
nice.
seating, cigars, all that stuff. Anyway, so we go over there, and I'm like, all right, look, bro. I said, I'm not staying there. I'm not staying here too long, man. I'm just gonna, they'll put the first team out. They'll have a couple of drives, put up 10 points. I'm out of there. And I waited until the third quarter, late, to see if the Bills were going to put some points up. They did not. So I said, you know what? Let me figure this out. And I, ended up leaving after the game, and I was just disgusted. Just disgusted. Not even a field goal. We had an opportunity to kick a field goal and missed it. Get into the red zone, and Frank Gore fumbles. So what are the positives? I thought the backup offensive line was pretty good against their ones. I didn't think that they embarrassed themselves. I thought that they were solid. Terrell Shavers continues to impress. Backup quarterback is a scary thing. If Josh goes down, it's over. What else? Deion Walker, man. Deion Walker, Michael Hoyt, Dwayne Carter, I thought had a good game. TJ Sanders, I think, still played well. I like Jordan Hancock. He's been balling. He has been balling, bro.
Yep.
Codrington. I want to say Codrington did not embarrass himself out there. Like he wasn't good. Don't get me wrong. Codrington was not good. He wasn't awful either. Like he tackled well. I didn't think he got too far out of position while covering receivers. I thought they ran a good amount of man and match coverage, and I thought he acquitted himself kind of well. You can see the difference in his coverage this year from what it was last year. Last year, he stunk. He stunk last year. But this year, I thought he was pretty solid in coverage. Let's see what else. Yeah, I like Hancock. I'm not tripping about Bishop getting cooked on a great route or whatever. I'm not worried about that at all.
But we had a comment very early in pod. I wanted to get, what do you think about Hancock as a starting safety? Maybe not so much to start the season,
Yeah,
maybe at some point, or maybe in the future.
I don't think so.
No, you think more of a
I definitely the future. Like this is the thing. I think they have a plan for him. I think the plan for him is to be the uh nickel replacement
Mhm.
for Taron Johnson. I think that's the the uh the the path that they want to go now. I
Mhm.
don't think that and I like if things keep going this way, we're not gonna have that option. I think the option is gonna be you need to play this kid at safety and Cole Bishop goes to the other safety and Taylor Rapp, moves on, or we figure something else out. Um, but as for right now, I thought he was the best player. I thought Hancock was the best player in the secondary. I thought Jamarcus Ingram played solid football. Uh,
Mhm. Agree.
Dane Jackson continues to be unimpressive. Um, yeah, he continues to be bad.
Mhm.
Yeah, I I don't know why, Steve. Excellent point. I don't understand why people are looking at this preseason
Mhm.
game and saying to themselves, "Cole Bishop can't play." The last time we saw him play a game that mattered was the AFC Championship game, and he was really good out there. So, yeah, I'm not even addressing like at this point. Put
Yeah.
Josh at safety. Oh, okay, all right. Um,
Yeah, that's the overreaction. Just it's gonna be
yeah,
okay, trust me. We have a McDermott is a safety. What do they call that? Safety whisperer. Like, he finds these safeties.
yeah, yeah.
We got to trust the process on that. We've done it before. Who thought Taylor Rapp was going to be an impactful player when they
Nobody,
brought him in? I liked
nobody.
the move when they did it because I remember him seeing a little bit the Rams, but I didn't think
I
that he
hated the
would.
move.
You did not like it. I remember that actually. Yes.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's great. He's been great for us. He's been really, really good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we got to let it play
Again,
out. Yeah.
defensive line. I thought Dwayne Carter played well, albeit it was against twos and threes. Um,
Yeah. Which
Bishop
Carter would
will
have gotten
be the
that touchdown?
Bernard from two
I
years
was,
ago, and Sean. Steve, I believe that this is the case as well. Bishop will be. Yeah,
right.
I think Bishop's going to have a good year. Um,
Hmm.
Well, what I was gonna say about Deion Walker, I thought Deion Walker played well.
Hmm.
Uh, I was so shocked. I was like shocked at how much time they gave that guy Casey Rogers because like he did
Yeah.
absolutely nothing. But what I wanted to see from Deion Walker was that he got that he that they did commit to double teaming him multiple times in order to to run the football or do things effectively. They had to do it, and that's good because if they're gonna do that, then that means somebody else next to him is gonna get a one-on-one, and at that point you just have to win. So we will see how that goes. TJ Sanders again, very impressive. I thought he had good snap off the. I thought he was good off the snap as usual. He did show a little variation in his pass rush moves, which I thought was nice. Um, Landon Jackson played well. Thank God, because I was
Hmm.
worried
Yeah.
after the first game. I was very worried
A
about
little
him after
bit.
the first game, but he played
Yeah.
well. He did play well. McDermott spoke about this a couple. Was it I think it was like 2 years ago. We was talking about like when we get rookies in here, especially like rookies on the defensive side, we like to
Hmm.
go with the water hose to the face approach, where they just put these guys in and let them kind of see everything and get blasted by everything, and then we work from that point. Okay, tell me what you saw here, and then they just go through and they break it down, like what they give them the experience, and then they walk them through the experience. And I think that's an excellent way for them to be coached because they're going to see everything, and they're teaching them how to deal with everything.
Yeah.
Now, what I want to say, somebody put something in here that I thought was pretty good. Pretty good. Hamlin.
Yeah.
Hamlin can go. Hamlin's not going. I'm sorry. Walker reminds me of Calais Campbell.
Mhm.
Calais Campbell type player. Like, I don't know. I think Calais Campbell's more of a stout. I think he's more stout against the run. I think he's more of a traditional interior guy, even though Calais Campbell did play defensive end, especially in like Baltimore, places like that. Me personally, the first thing I saw, well, I told you guys when I saw Deion Walker, I said to myself, he could be the next Chris Jones. I think that highly of him. So that's where I'm at. I'm not backing off of it. I think
No,
he's going to
I
really have
wanted
a
to ask
great
you something about
opportunity.
that. Did Chris Jones pop his first year, or did it take him maybe a
No,
couple of years to
It took like 2 or 3
about 2
years. Yeah.
years? Yeah, that's the one thing. I guess that's my only concern, Whittle, is that remember we talk about that added pressure Sean McDermott has, and we have guys like Deion Walker, right? And what they could bring. Can he do it that quickly? Is the question. But I agree with what you said. If Dion can just be a space eater and really help maybe free Ed up, and like if he just somehow helps Ed Oliver become a better, more consistent defensive tackle, then I'm okay with it, right? He doesn't have to be a consistent monster that we think he could be right away, right? Just has to make some sort of impact.
I mean, let's be honest. He's
So,
probably going to play 20% of the snaps, maybe.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
In year one, he's going to play 20% of the snaps.
Mhm.
So not that that's nothing, but like I don't need him to be great.
Mhm.
I don't need him to be great all the time right now. Just be
Yep.
great 20% of the time. Just be great 15. If you play 50 snaps, if he plays, 100, 200 snaps this year,
Mhm.
be great on 120 of them. Be
Yeah.
great on 140 of them. The other ones, anchor, hold up a double team to allow somebody else to be great. That like I'm good with that. That's fine. Um, yeah, so that's what I got from the Bears game. Like I didn't look at that game and say to myself that I'm worried about. I'm so worried about this defense. The depth looks like the depth. It looks like how we should look. It doesn't look like the starters. Um, I will say this though. The linebackers did kind of bother me. Like Dorian Williams at this point should be better in coverage than what he was. Um, I thought that Andreessen looked the way he looked, and it wasn't great. It wasn't great. I don't think he had a good game. But again, it's the water hose to the face effect, and they put him in conflict a lot, and he made the wrong decision a lot. But that's a teachable moment. They're gonna sit down with the tape and they're gonna walk them through it and say, "Listen, you got 6 yards on your zone drop here, but you have to have a better feel for the receiver coming behind you, and you've got to get deeper on your drop, especially when there is no threat in front of you to catch the football, right? There's
Mhm.
no running back running underneath you. There's no um tight end. I mean, there was one play that they did do that, and they still went over the top with the pass down the middle. There was a deep pass over the middle of the field that had him and Dorian Williams communicated better. Somebody could have took the underneath guy, and then that would have given the other linebacker the space to drop back. Charlo, we're gonna get to Charlo, Steve, in a second.
Yep. Yep.
So did I put that in there? No, I did. Okay. I do want to make sure that we don't um we don't place too much emphasis on the preseason. Like last year we lost to the Bears, they beat us 33-6.
Mhm.
They didn't make the playoffs when we were in the AFC Championship game, and I think the team last year was much worse than the team is this year. So I mean, whatever. The only starter that played was Cole Bishop on defense, and Josh Palmer played on offense. I think each of those guys played like 12 snaps, and that was it.
Yep, that's it.
So
Yep. There's
whatever.
no reason to overreact. It's the
Yeah.
listen, the optics are still tough, especially the game was on Fox. It was Sunday night, and the casuals are out. And Dolphin creators are saying we're going to be 9-8 now, missing the playoffs, and it's August, folks. This is par for the course. So stay the path. Don't. There's no reason to panic. Now, I wanted to ask you in terms of this game this Saturday. Do you think the Bills play some starters this weekend, considering we have 2 weeks? Or you still think they're out? They're not looking to even get them just a little bit of action, a few reps out in Tampa Bay?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'd like to see it, but I don't think so. I think that they've practiced. I think that they've practiced well enough for them to not be worried about
Mhm.
seeing these guys in preseason games. I'm really surprised that, like, I know Shakir's not going to play because obviously the injury, but I haven't seen Keon Coleman on the field. He didn't play at all, which was kind of surprising to me. But it just tells you how they feel. I think that tells you how they feel about him. So another guy that stood out, that's starting to stand out a little bit, is the kid that the guy they brought in from Army. He played for the Jets last year. What's his name? What's his name?
Oh,
Uh,
Jimmy Charlo?
yeah, Charlo, the
Yeah.
linebacker.
Yes. Yep.
Um, Bringing him in and the amount of juice that he gives this team, I like it. I don't think he makes the team. I'm sorry, Steve. I really doubt he makes a team. If he makes a team, it's because Shaq Thompson doesn't make the team. I think that fifth linebacker spot is where they're most worried about. I think that's the only spot that they're going to have available. Um,
Do you think we could
but
stash him on the
Charlo,
practice squad? Maybe potentially, we could put him on the practice
oh
squad.
no, I
No.
mean, I think he'll clear waivers if that's what you know. I
Hmm.
think he'll clear waivers. Yeah, I think they can get him on the practice squad. I just don't know if they have the space to not have him on the roster because of the special teams. I think he's a guy that you definitely want on the special teams. Um, yeah, like I remember when we had Big Red, man. That was like he
Hmm.
was he was good for us, man. But
Hmm.
I can see Charlo filling in that role. I also can see Charlo being on the practice squad and then next year him really making a push to unseat a guy that's already on the roster. I could see it because it's what are we going into now for Dorian Williams? Year 3?
Yep.
And the coverage is still an issue. Like it's
Yes, it
still a
is.
big issue. Like it's just not. He's not feeling. He's not. He doesn't have a good feel for the zone for the responsibilities in zone coverage, and
Hmm.
maybe he just doesn't. Maybe he never gets it, or maybe he doesn't get it for this team. Maybe that's the case. I don't know, but whatever it is, that I guess like we'll see. But I put together. Oh, one more guy. The Bills signed. Uh, like they cut the kicker. What was his name? The kicker that they cut.
Oh, the kicker that won that contest on Hard Knocks. Let me see. Caden,
I'm gonna look
was it
it up.
Caden? Caden, I can't
Hold on,
remember his.
I'll look it up. Let
I think
me.
it's I think it's Caden something. Caden Davis was the kicker.
Yeah,
Caden Davis, yeah. We hardly knew you, Caden Davis, so I guess that is a good sign in terms of our kicker's health going
yeah.
forward.
Aiden Davis.
And
Yeah, that
yeah.
so them releasing. the kicker Caden Davis, and that tells you that Tyler Bass is probably ready to go, or he's ready to go. That's what that says to me, is that he's ready to go.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
we just I know you guys remember we signed Jarvan Howard, the running back.
Yep.
He got hurt already. He's been released.
That was like a day.
Grant Du Bois, the wide receiver we signed to come in, he got hurt today. So we'll see what happens with him. But we signed running back Elijah Young, offensive lineman Rush Reimer, and two for you guys on defense takes the next 7 minutes play. I'll get right to that. And Zy Alexander. If you guys have been paying attention to this pod, you know
Yep.
Alexander is somebody who I wanted the Buffalo Bills to take. I wanted them to draft him. I
Yep.
wanted him over Dorian Strong. I think he's better in coverage than Strong is. I think Strong's a better. I think Strong's a little faster. I think Strong's a better athlete, and I think Strong tackles a little bit better. But I think Zy Alexander is a. Um, I think he's a. I think he's a solid press man corner who understands. Who understands the concept and responsibilities in zone. I think he's a guy that can play both. I'd like to see what he can do. He's not going to make the 53. I hope that they were able to get him on a practice squad and just kind of coach him over the year,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
and have him ready to rock next year. Um, because there are some corners who are currently on this roster that I don't think should have a job with the Buffalo Bills going forward.
I
Oh
mean, is
yeah,
it
there it is.
possible that
Zai is a turnover machine. 13 picks in college. That is huge. That's huge. Huge. Yeah.
Hairston starts on IR and they have Zahir for the time being? Whittle? Could that be a
Um.
possibility?
Nah. If
Something like
Maxwell
that.
starts on the if Maxwell starts on the 53,
Hmm.
they can throw him on IR immediately, right? And that will
Yeah.
free up his spot. I don't think it'll be for
Thinking maybe not for Zai.
no. I think if anything, it'll be for Dane Jackson or Brandon Codrington, one of those two.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna present my 53. Um,
By all
when we
means.
get done, yeah. So you want to do that now?
Sure, go for it, Whittle. And then what
Uh,
we could do is we could go over, we're going to go over some 53-man predictions here. Because I
hold on.
believe what
I
cutoff
wanted to
is
get
it?
back to this.
Yeah.
What would Cole Bishop do for you guys on defense if he takes the next step in his play? Honestly, um, I think that's the biggest hole. I think that's the only real hole or real question mark on his defense. If we're just talking about starters, I'm perfectly fine with Matt Milano and Terrell Bernard at linebacker. Like if we got those guys and Darren Johnson in the middle, like we're fine.
Yep.
As long as he plays well, I think he turns his defense from a defense that struggled to get off the field on third down to a top 5 defense. Like I think this becomes a top 5 defense if that might be a little rich. I don't know. Let me not say top 5 defense.
Top
I
five?
think the Bills are a
Yes.
top. I think the Bills are a top 10 defense if Cole Bishop has a good year.
I would sign
I'll
up for
say
that
that.
right now, Whittle. I'll sign up for top 10 right now, even if it's 10.
I mean,
I'm
well, we were 12
okay
last
with
year,
that.
so
Yeah.
I
But remember, just that
top
little bit
10 is
more.
not. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That could be the difference. Hmm.
I think a good year out of Cole Bishop uh, gives this team the opportunity to play um, faster. I think it gives this team an opportunity to be way more multiple on defense. And if we're multiple on defense, we're going to get off the field on third down. We're going to beat teams that we previously had trouble beating. The defense is going to continue to get turnovers, and they're going to get more stops if we can be multiple because you can keep offenses off their toe. You can keep offenses off balance. You can keep the quarterback with his head on a swivel, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah. So hopefully he does play well. I think he does, but I think he will play well though. So we may end up with some IR and suspended guys that allow us to keep players. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna present my 53 man roster really quickly and just walk through it very, very, very quickly.
Excellent.
Hey, should be popping up soon. There we go. Um, okay. No surprises here. No surprises, no surprises, no surprises. Josh Allen, Mitchell Trubisky. I do not have Mike White making the 53.
Same.
What's up, student?
What's up, student?
So my quarterbacks, I have Josh Allen and Mitchell Trubisky. That would be Mike White and Shane Buechele are out. One of those guys at least is going to make the practice squad. Probably Buechele. Um, More likely that Mike White finds a spot somewhere else if he doesn't get on with the Buffalo Bills. Running backs, James Cook, Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, and Reggie Gilliam. That would put Frank Gore on the practice squad if he clears waivers. He probably will.
Yep. We're
Wide
locked up
receiver.
so far. Mm-hmm.
Wide receiver, uh I have Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel, Elijah Moore, and Tyrell Shavers right now. The last three spots, it could go either way. Curtis Samuel, why do I have Curtis? That was misspelled. There you go. Curtis Samuel. All right.
This is
Curtis
that Whittle, is
Samuel.
that is that a subtle message or feeling about Curtis Samuel? Maybe
No, I like Curtis Samuel. But
no.
I'd be lying if if I didn't say I think he might get traded. I think
Yeah.
they may move him. I don't know. If they move him, they move him. If not, whatever.
Mhm.
I think he's a good addition to the team when he's healthy. Problem is he's hardly ever healthy. So, but we'll see. Keon Khalil, Joshua Palmer, Curtis Samuel, Elijah Moore, Tyrell Shavers right now the wide receiver. So that would mean so yeah, like the guys that you don't expect to make the team aren't making the team. I don't think Laviska Chenault makes the team. Um,
I think he may. That's where I'm different. I couldn't decide between him and Shavers. Whittle. I don't know what it is about Shavers, but could they put him on the practice squad again, or would he clear waivers at that point?
I don't
Or
think he clears waivers. That's why I don't
yeah,
think that they do it.
okay,
I don't
yeah,
think he
maybe
clears waivers.
that was one of my. I wasn't sure, so that may change my mind on that as well.
Yeah. I think that's a situation like what we had with Hodgins,
Hmm.
like a team that needs a wide receiver and he's put some good film out there. So I don't think he clears waivers. And I honestly, it's time, bro. Like he needs his shot, right?
Hmm.
If Keon goes down, we need another big body, tall receiver to go in there and play and give us that downfield contested catch demon. And that would be a guy like Tyrell Shavers or
Hmm.
Gabe Davis if he signs here.
Hmm.
Tight
Yep.
end, I got Don Key, Dawson Knox, and Jackson Hawes. That means that everybody's favorite tight end, Zach Davidson, is not making the roster. Deion Dawkins at left tackle, Tylen Grable. I have his name in red because he currently is hurt. How do I make this full screen? Well, I should be better at Excel than I am. Um, but don't judge me because whatever. I'm not an accountant anymore. Well, I am, but not really. Left guard. I have Tyler. Yeah, so Tyler Grable, whatever. I think Vegas. What is this? I think Vegas got you guys scoring a lot of points. Even who are the main guys that could be getting into the end zone? Oh, that sounds like a fantasy question to me.
Yeah, I
Um,
put that in there.
yeah,
I think Keon Coleman's the guy I would expect to take a really nice leap in the touchdown department this year.
yeah. I
I can
think
see it.
Keon may flirt with like 8 or 9 touchdowns just
Yeah.
from being a big, big.
Mhm.
Him and Kincaid. I think Kincaid's another one that might get a lot of touchdowns, and then you can never count out the running backs. The running backs as well in the pass
Mhm.
game and the rushing and running the football. Uh, David Edwards, Alec Anderson are my guards or left guards. I got Connor McGovern, Cedric Van Pran Granger at center. He's currently hurt, so he may like these guys in red may end up being on like IR. Like they're going to put SVPG on IR before the season, which would eliminate him from being on the roster at all this year, and then that will free up a spot for somebody else that may not make the team another spot. I got Osiris Torrance, right guard, at right tackle Spencer Brown, Ryan Van Der Mark. There's a name here that I should put in, and I will put him in at left tackle. Chase Lunt.
Yep, I have him
You
in
know, I
mind,
forgot
Whittle.
somebody.
I put him on there. I figured we would keep 10
Yeah,
on that. Yeah.
right. So now I got to cut somebody on defense. Crap.
Oh boy.
I actually think Ryan Van Der Mark is going to get traded. I think he's going to get moved. Could be. He could not. I'm not sure. But I believe he probably will. Greg Rousseau, Joey Bosa, AJ Epinesa, Landon Jackson. Those are my locks. I have Javon Solomon here. For now, I'm not sure that Javon Solomon makes the team. He's on the bubble for me. Uh, then we got Daquan Jones, Ed Oliver, TJ Sanders, Deion Walker, and Dwayne Carter. I think all 5 of these guys are a lock. I think they're more likely to move Javon Solomon or try to practice squad Javon Solomon before
Agreed.
they move off of Dwayne Carter. And then the reason why is because Ed Oliver gets banged up, and I think we may want to cut into his snap share a little bit. And Daquan Jones has had, some injury issues over the last couple of years too. So anything to lighten up the snap load for especially Daquan Jones, I think we're gonna try to do it. Linebackers, I got Terrell Bernard, Matt Milano, Dorian Williams, Joe Andreessen, aka Buffalo Joe, Shaq Thompson right now. I'm not sure the Shaq Thompson um plays. I think he may be a guy that they practice squad, which would then open up a spot for Ulofoshio or Charlo. I think Charlo's the guy that right
Mhm.
now has earned the right to be here. So if McDermott's telling the truth about no matter who you are, as long as you make plays, you're going to get a spot. Well, then that means that West Point's going to get the nod, and if that happens, I'm going to be very happy. I'm going to go to the game and I'm going to yell at him and I'm going to say, "Cadet, you owe me a salute." And he's gonna have to come over there and salute me because I'm an NCO. Uh, Cornerback, Christian Benford, Tre'Davious White, Terry Johnson, Maxwell Harrison's in red because he's hurt right now, although I still think he makes the 53. Dorian Strong, Jamarcus Ingram, and Brandon Covington. I could actually move Brandon Covington over to the special teams section right here, and I could do that, but I'm listing him as a well, can y'all even see that? How do I move this up? All right, never mind. Screw it. Oh, there we go. All right, so now you see it. Brandon Covington right there.
Mhm.
Safeties, I got Taylor Rapp, Cole Bishop. Those are your starters. I have Jordan Hancock, DeMar Hamlin, and Cam Lewis. This is where yeah, I know, bro. You know how they do with Reed Ferguson, though. Like Reed Ferguson never really makes the 53. They cut him in and they say go sit in the parking lot and then we'll create a
I
spot
put him
for you.
on there.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Right.
Whittle,
But
I'm starting to wonder.
if you notice, I have 25 on offense and 27 on defense. That's 52. That's not 53. So the spot for Reed is there.
Whittle, do you think there's
But
any shot that DeMar Hamlin gets cut? Because I'm starting to think he might, and I did not include him on my 53. I know that's a bold
no,
statement. I know it'll be wild. You don't think there's
I
any
don't think
chance of
he
that
gets
happening?
cut. No, he was a starter last year. He knows the defense. Like they could start him again and be like, all right, well, we just got to start DeMar Hamlin, and
Hmm.
we'll figure out how to, we'll figure out how to scheme around what he can't do well.
Yeah.
So they technically could do that. Um, but I think with the drafting of Jordan Hancock and DeMar Hamlin, I believe is a lock for the roster. Cam Lewis being here and also being able to double dip as the nickel guy, I think that causes issues for Jamarcus Ingram. While Jamarcus Ingram is really good on special teams, he had issues playing on the boundary. Um, and I don't know, like I mean, he did play like Nick. He played like dime. He was like the dime corner last year, so
Mhm.
maybe, but it's two cornerback spot for a special teamer for both for two
That's
special
fair.
team guys. I think that's kind of a lot, but
Hmm.
that's where I went with it. So
Yeah.
those are some areas to watch. I got Tyler Bass as your kicker, Brad Robbins, and this spot here would be Reed Ferguson. I got
Yep.
Larry Ogunjobi and Michael Hoyt suspended. So when they get back, that's going to mean something for
It's
these
gonna
two
be
areas
that's gonna be
here.
really interesting, Whittle.
Very
That is
interesting. Very.
very interesting. I mean, I
Hoyt's a lot. Like when Hoyt gets back, Solomon's out of here.
yeah, that's
He's
a
out of here.
definite. But after that, what do you? Dwayne Carter? Yeah, I guess it's going to be Dwayne, or could it be Daquan? I mean, depending how Daquan Jones is in terms of
No way.
health, and
Nah.
probably
Can't be.
not.
It
But
can't be
yeah, but again,
Jones.
it creates an interesting, unique situation where this team has not been a little while
Yeah.
in terms of a lot to pick from. So probably Dwayne Carter at that point. So I could see a trade happening around that time. And isn't that our bye week is week 7, right?
Yes. Yep.
And that's right after they're coming back. So that's going to
Yeah.
be a very, very interesting week. That may be the sort of Bills trade deadline right there. Could be where they have to, come up with these spots, and hopefully they
Yep.
got some pleasant problems to deal with. Hopefully they have some tough decisions, and maybe they can get themselves a decent pick for one, like someone at least recover something for 2026, or package them and get something better somewhere else.
You know how Bean loves his late round draft pick. So
Yeah, yeah, but just don't
if you
waste
if
them
you
on
traded
seventh round wide
Dwayne
receiver.
Carter, you probably get a fifth back for him. If you trade Javon Solomon, you probably get a 6 or a 7, and that's that.
Yep,
It might not even
yep,
be that. You might just get a pick swap for these guys. But
yep,
with this 53, who do I have returning kicks? I got Codrington as the kick returner.
yep.
I got Codrington doing it, and the backup would be Khalil and Elijah Moore. I'm nervous about Elijah Moore doing it though. Like I just feel like Elijah Moore gets back there, he's gonna fumble. I'm that's just how I feel.
You
Every time
think
he's
it's
fielded kicks, I feel like this guy's gonna fumble. He's gonna
think that
fumble.
you think that
So
if there's a shot that Gabe Davis is ready to go, Whittle, do you think we move on from a guy like Elijah Moore already, even though he really hasn't shown anything? I mean, he hasn't had a real chance to
um
shine. He has had, yeah. I'm curious as to what that does with either a trade, and maybe Samuel gets traded. But what if they can't? What do you do at that point?
this might be a situation where Gabe Davis only comes in if we have an injury.
Yeah, maybe they have an understanding of sorts where Bean says, "Hey, I can't promise you a roster spot now, but if something happens, or maybe we have to see after the first 6 weeks, which would give Gabe just a little more time to recover from that meniscus tear." Because I mean, he says he
Well,
could
I
be ready
mean,
week
he
one,
he,
but
he should already be recovered because like
yeah,
that was 9 months ago, I believe it was. So like he should be fine
yeah,
now.
hmm
Um But yeah,
Yep.
that's all I got, brother.
And that's all I had too. I mean, we had, I just, my surprise cut was Damar Hamlin. And again, I think that would be, it would be shocking in a way, but I just feel like there may be a shocking cut coming along the way from Two Bills Drive coming next week. Because, and again, just because of the talent we have, and granted it didn't show. This is what I was Steve. I'm a little bit on the Steve side. I had Chanel making the roster, Whittle, but I'm thinking too what you mentioned about Cogrington, how he could play a little corner. That might give him just that little bit of a nod over Chanel, but that's gonna be. I mean, and he mentions an interesting point about being a little bigger. I did hear something. I can't remember who said it. Talk about how they want returners to be a little bit bigger now because of the new rule changes in terms of the kickers where they have to place the ball, so they may want a little more size there in terms of that returner. But we'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, I listen. I think the Bills are fine with not having. Um, I don't think wide receiver is a. I don't think him playing wide receiver is a deal breaker for the Bills versus like being that Codrington showed. Hey, I can play a little bit of slot and not embarrass myself. I
Mhm.
I think that was enough to give him the spot. Like I think
Yeah,
he's safe.
it's
I
funny,
think if it comes down to it between Chenault or Codrington and Chenault being able to play receiver and Codrington showing that, hey, I can play a little slot. And we'll see again, like they're gonna play this weekend. I'm sure
Mhm.
Codrington's gonna be on the field at corner again. If he
Mhm.
looks if he looks solid, he's more explosive as a
Yep.
returner than I've ever seen Chenault.
He's
I'd
gonna get a
rather have
long
Codrington back there, bro.
this week, Whittle. I think he's gonna get a long look on Saturday because
Yeah.
that's yep. That's gonna be interesting. That's the kind of storylines. Like I think we may have more of a need to have a guy like Cogniton at corner than we would to have Chanel wide receiver. The more I think about it, but it's
Right.
it's close. It's close. Like Chanel really has to do something to really win that job. I think he has to do something on Saturday night that kind of distinguishes himself. If it's even, they're going to go with Cogniton.
I agree. I agree. So I got nothing else, brother. Good, good.
Well, I am good and want to say thank you to everyone listening. Over 350 listens tonight, Whittle. With a pretty we're starting to get, it's close to that time of year. Next week,
Yeah.
preseason will be over. And then we will start pivoting to game one at Highmark Stadium between the Bills and Ravens. We'll have two shows before that. So Whittle, maybe we'll get a little more into that, and maybe we'll sprinkle in some NFL predictions as well.
Yeah.
So just we'll see how that goes from here, and
Well,
take it away. I just can't wait. I can't believe we're almost here, and I forgot to apologize. Gotta get the graphic. Thanks, Matt. No worries, man. We got you. We got
Matthew,
you.
your apology has been acknowledged. However, it has not been accepted.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
it's rough tonight.
I,
Wow.
I've got a few choice words for you today, sir. I'm gonna send you a nice long email right after we get out of here. Actually, no, I'm
Uh-oh.
not, man. No
Little
problem, bro.
airing,
We're
little
good, man.
airing the
I
grievances,
put
ladies and gentlemen.
no, I God knows I'm not airing any grievances. I don't have any grievances, guys. I don't have any grievances. I've been called the cloud chaser, so I don't want to,
Oh no.
yeah,
No, that's good.
apparently I'm a cloud chaser.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to give special shout out to Steve. Your comments are always appreciated, along with so many others. Uh, it's great to see some new faces in here tonight, and Joshua and Student, of course. We saw Matt, of course, are the guys that run our Duke champions. We say hello to Carlos and everybody else that's in here. Wit as well, reposting. Thank you for that. And it's great to see you all in here as always. And even and yeah, we'll even say hello to June, who was here, the resident Jet fan that
I'm
came
not.
in well, I know
Yeah.
you won't, but I don't think you'll ever say hello to Jude again in this podcast, but I'll continue to do so just to troll him back, so to speak. So
Yeah,
that's all I had.
he's dead.
So
He's dead to me in this pod. You hear me?
Oh, oh, oh
And
man.
let me just say one more thing. June, don't send me any more videos of you practicing on Madden. I don't care. All right? You line it up. You understand that?
Yep. 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 Yep.
You line it up.
Yeah,
Okay?
absolutely. Absolutely. I want to say thank you to Michael as well. It's always been a blast, and we appreciate you as well. And we couldn't do this without all of you. You all bring so much to the podcast. We can't say that enough. And again, like and subscribe to our pod, and like and subscribe to Do Champions as well. We really will appreciate that. We got a lot of great shows coming up to set you up for what hopefully is a historic 2025 season for the Buffalo Bills, if you all
Super
catch my
Bowl.
drift. Super Bowl. Yeah, Santa Clara. Right up the road from me, 400 miles. So hopefully I have to make the trek up there at some point, up to 5, which
How
is
many
even
miles?
400. About 400 from
Oh,
LA.
ooh,
That's how big California's huge, man. When you go up
yeah.
to north, I think to get to the top, it's almost 1,000 miles, Wendell. Almost to the top of California for me, like 900 miles. It's crazy big. So maybe I'll pass one of
Ain't no
Josh's
way.
pistachio farms on the way up, going to that game. So pick
Yeah,
you up a
what's he
couple
got? Like
pounds.
he's got a couple thousand acres or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know what? Rams are still Super Bowl. That would be pretty interesting. So it all depends on Matt Stafford's back. That's a whole nother
I don't
story
have
that they got.
I don't have that. I have the Bucks winning the NFC.
Ooh, there's a hot take. Ooh, Bucks. We could a
Listen,
preview of the
is it
Super
really
Bowl
that hot?
Thursday
Like,
night.
is it really a hot
Ooh, kind
take?
of hot.
Like, the Bucks are a good team, man.
I'm
They're really
going.
good. They're a really good team.
I'm still going with
And
Philly in the NFC until proven
and
otherwise. But
you know who Philly's kryptonite is? Tampa Bay.
they have been in the regular season. Yes, they did. They did light him up last year, week 4.
Playoffs too. They beat him
Well,
in the
that was
playoffs.
Well, Hurts had one knee in that game, so I'm not going to go too crazy on that.
What
That
about
was
what about the year before? What about the time before?
Yeah, well,
They got smoked. Brady and those boys smoked them. Smoked them.
they do have they do have a certain confidence against the Eagles. That I will agree with you on. That
Yes.
I do think he's not a boisterous guy, but I always thought Ball's a little underrated. I think he's a good coach. I've always been a fan of him. So
Yep.
that I agree with you. I do really like their roster. The NFC is going to be very competitive. I mean, we're going to get into it. It's definitely taken a step up from the last couple years. So.
And listen, if you want to put some money down on something, put some money down on Baker Mayfield. Um,
Mhm.
Baker Mayfield MVP.
Hey, listen, and
Put some
listen,
money
y'all
on that.
listen. Whittle last year, remember we said Josh Allen was 8-1. You said put some money on that last year, and we see what happens. So,
Yeah, because I knew we weren't going to stink. Like everybody said, the Bills stink this. If the Bills are good this year, Josh is the MVP. Well, the Bills are going to be good. I knew that. I'm telling you right now, they're starting the season. The Bucs are starting the season with Mike Evans, Godwin's hurt,
Mhm.
Jalen McMillan is also hurt. So they're starting the season with uh, Mike Evans, Emeka Ibuka, Trey Palmer, and Tej Johnson. Like those are their top 4 wide receivers right now. And
Mhm.
what do they have at corner? They got currently Baker Mayfield, the odds to win the MVP around plus
So what
2,500.
what this means, Whittle? If you bet
Bro,
100, you win $2,500, or maybe 30. If you get him at 3,500, you win $3,500 on that
so if
100.
I put 1,000 down, that means I win 25 grand.
Yeah, if you put 1,000 at win, Whittle, then you're flying me out. We're going to that lounge in West Orange on you. Okay, I'm coming out to Jersey.
Yeah.
Like that. Or we're going up to Buffalo for a game for sure. Oh man, could you
Oh
imagine?
yeah, collect on that, Carlos. Listen, Carlos. Listen, brother. And we already get out of here, but
Yeah.
listen. The best nation is a donation. And that's exactly what these Saints fans are doing right now. They're betting you
Yeah,
after that preseason game.
man.
Listen,
Just
lock them all
easy
in.
money.
Lock all of those bets in. As a matter of fact, DM me these people. Whoever wants to bet you, DM me if they're on Twitter. And then I can bet them as well because, yeah,
I may get in on that action too. I
that's a
mean,
donation,
why
bro.
not?
That's a donation.
Why not?
100%. That's a donation. Wow.
Oh
But
man.
that's the thing. real quick, I'm gonna just say this about
Mhm.
the way the team has looked in the preseason. Browns fans, stop worrying about the preseason. They are looking at these young guys and they're allowing those young guys to go out there without a ton of game plan, no real elaborate scheme. Like the stuff that we're running defensively in the preseason, we are not going to do in during the regular season. And these are our twos and threes going
Mhm.
up against guys ones or going up against their twos. Okay,
You know what,
they
Little?
don't look great. So
Last
what?
year.
The second you're never going to see a game where the entire unit is full of backups unless we're up, multiple scores. At that point, who cares? It's not
Mhm.
like we're the Bengals whose first team defense went out there on Monday night and gave up 14 points in 7 plays.
Mhm.
I'd be worried if my defense did that.
Yep.
Our starters didn't do that.
Mhm.
So who cares? 38 to nothing, 40, 50 to whatever.
Doesn't matter. Chiefs went 0-3 last year in the
Evaluate.
preseason window.
Yeah.
Chiefs were 0-3.
So
Eagles got smoked at home by Minnesota 26-3 last year in the preseason. It's
and
gonna
they
happen,
went to
Sean.
the Super Bowl.
It doesn't
So
doesn't ruin
whatever.
anything. So yeah,
And the
we'll be fine.
teams with great preseason records last year didn't even make the playoffs. So I mean, a couple of the
Yep.
teams that were like 3-0 in the preseason last year didn't even make the playoffs. So I
That's
mean,
right.
it's I'm not tripping about it. I saw that Codrington didn't embarrass himself. Um, Hancock looks good. The defensive line rookies look good. The linebackers are good. They're fine against the run. They're fine chasing the ball. They need work in pass coverage. They need work in zone and things like that. I got what I needed from that game, bro. I did.
Listen, if anything
It,
else,
it is what it
it
is.
gives if anything else, Whittle, it gives McDermott some ammunition to go into his meetings and try to get
Hmm.
the team fired up, even if it's a little misplaced. Right? You say, "Hey, look at what we did." Yeah, even though he knows the starters were out, it's just something to kind of kick the team into gear. Maybe he's sort of in a strange way. I'm not gonna say happy, but the real great coaches, they turn that around. So I'm not worried about it at all. Not
Yeah.
even a little bit.
Um. Yeah. So all right. Well, that's that, man. We'll move on. You guys have a great week. I
You
think the
too, Whittle.
Bills play. When do we play? Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday
I think we
night
play
in
Saturday.
Tampa, in
Saturday night.
muggy
Yeah.
Tampa Bay. Count on the
So
thunderstorm coming through at some point. So it'll be there on Saturday night, and then we are on to the Baltimore Ravens 2 weeks from Sunday night coming up. So
next
we'll
week
be
we
here
got
to really start breaking it down. And I'm sorry, Whittle.
Yeah, next week we got Neil, the Dolphins fan, coming on, so we'll talk
Excellent,
some AFC
excellent.
East. I may try to get another, I may try to get like a Jets or Patriots
Yeah, have a little
guest.
AFC East roundtable, maybe that'd be
Yeah,
fun.
so we can talk a little AFC East, and that's
That'd be
that,
great.
man. But
Yep.
appreciate everybody pulling up and checking us out yet again. Thank you so much. We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
support, and we're gonna try to keep getting better here, man.
Oh, we will. We absolutely will. Thank you very much, everyone. And we'll be back
That's
better
it.
than ever next week. Have a great weekend.
Go
Go
Bills.
Bills.